Hi. Today I'm going to speak about the importance of carrying a little notebook. The importance of carrying a little notebook in your pocket always. What happens is whenever you come across any interesting thing that you want to note down, or perhaps which you need to brainstorm a little bit about, and sometimes you come across some important quotes or details or numbers, or maybe just a random thought which you want to think on later on. So, in those cases, this little notebook it comes in very handy. You can just simply note whatever you want to, whatever you want to note in that, and so that you can revisit it later. I have many different things written over here, and you know these are like the learnings which I have learned while in the conversation, and also it is very important to have a note in the if you are having to take notes in between the conversation, the running notes. Several there are several advantages of that. Um, One of the upsides is that when you are having a conversation with somebody else, and assuming that particular somebody is worth talking to, so in that case, what happens? You come across a lot of ideas, and that particular person tells you a lot of different things, and it is the limitation of the human brain that you can only remember so much, right? So when you start writing it down on paper, as and when that particular person speaks about that thing, and you realize, oh wow, like this is a really cool thing to know, or maybe this is a really important thing, or maybe this will help me in the future a lot. So you can just note it down here, so that you can revisit it later and think upon it, and also like important phone numbers, contact details, etc. So that way it helps a lot. What I do is I generally use this particular notebook for writing all the important things, like which I want to do, or maybe like treat it as a to-do list, and also like the learnings uh, that I learn from the conversations. I take running notes from conversation, and also let's see. Also, like going while going to have a conversation with uh, someone who, like someone who has achieved something in their particular field, who is a little bit established, and so you cannot go directly just like that randomly and ask and like talk to them. In order to talk to them, you need to have certain things, an archetype of what you need to talk, and like the overall the basic structure of your conversations, like how you want your conversations to go. First you'll ask this, that, etc. So what you can do is you can list down a bunch of different questions and write it here. Like, I have written here, like as you can see, there are main questions which I wanted to ask someone. So you can list down your questions, and when you reach there, what you can do is you can just maybe glance the book before you start the conversation, or maybe in between you take up and ask them about the questions, and whatever they reply, based upon that you note down the answers. So that will be really helpful, because it gives a structure to your conversation. It's Your conversation is not going random anymore. Like you know what you're talking about, right? And you ask them what you genuinely want to know, instead of just shooting arrows here and there, and uh, etc. So yeah, that's it about the importance of having a notebook. This is a pocket notebook, by the way. It's not. It's just the size. It is lesser than the size of my palm. So you can carry it everywhere, and it costs me around 10 rupees. Yeah, 9 rupees, I guess. So it is cheap and it comes handy. Thank you so much.